Hey y'all, and welcome back to the kitchen. In tonight's recipe, we're making pinto beans, baked cabbage, and pork chops cooked in the air fryer. Y'all come on and join us as we get started. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today in the kitchen, we're making a pot of pinto beans, and we're going to be using our Ninja on the pressure setting. If you've got an Instant Pot or any kind of pressure cooker, you can do this to cook your pinto beans in. So y'all come on, and I'm going to show you how we're using some leftover ham that we've had in the freezer and a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of purple onions to spice up our pinto beans. These pinto beans are what you could call, I guess, country style. So let's get started. Now the first thing we're going to be using is a little bit of our saved bacon grease. I save our bacon grease to use just for things like this. It gives your food extra flavor. So we'll add around probably a teaspoon of bacon grease. And now we're just going to finely dice up a little bit of purple onion. We're just going to break it apart just a little bit. And now we're going to add that little bit of purple onion to our Instant Pot. And now we have our leftover ham that we had in the freezer. So I'm going to dice up just a little bit of this ham. Putting up stuff like this in the freezer to use later on can help you save a lot of money. And it adds good flavor to your food. We're just going to cut it up in real tiny pieces. Now if you had, like I said, if you had some strips of bacon, or even if you had a hog jaw, if it had been around like the first of the year, when they had those on sale, you can buy those and put them in the freezer also. And they add a lot of flavor to your beans. Okay, we're going to let that onion get just a little bit of color to it before we start adding our beans and our other seasonings. Using an Instant Pot, or like this Ninja that we've got, helps you not heat up your house. Now that it's summertime, none of us is wanting to try to add that extra heat in our house. So these are great to cook in when it's so hot outside. We're going to add just a tiny bit more of our bacon grease. Now right here we have our beans. We've already washed them and looked them, and make sure you look them real good, because you don't want to have any like little pebbles or rocks in there. Sometimes in your bags of beans you can find even a little tiny rock. So always make sure you look at your beans and pick out the bad ones, and watch out for the grub worms, because we have found a worm or two in beans too. But once you have them all washed and rinsed I just added my water back to it that we're going to add to the Instant Pot. So now we're going to go ahead and add our beans to our cooker. Give it a little mix. And now before we put the lid on it, we're going to add around a teaspoon of black pepper. A teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of onion powder. And now we're just going to give those a good mix. We're going to put our lid on our pot. Now that we've got our lid on there, we're going to set the pressure button, and I'm going to put it for 1 hour because beans, dried beans, takes a long time to cook because you want to get them good and tender. We've turned it on, and now once it builds pressure, it'll lock the lid because right now you can still get the lid off. Once it builds up the pressure, it'll lock the lid and it'll start counting down our 1 hour cooking time. For our pork chops, we put some salt, pepper, paprika, a little lemon pepper, and some total seasoning. 375, and we're going to do 20 minutes and then check them. Oh, they look like they're going to be good, y'all. And here's what our pinto beans turned out to look like. They're going to be good. We're going to have our pinto beans, our pork chops cooked in the air fryer, and some baked cabbage. I hope y'all like our video, and if you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.